Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I hope everyone is fine and everything is okay here at the workshop that will be held today. Will be a workshop from the University of Winchester. So we will welcome David Street, who is the director from the University of Winchester. Hello, David. How are you? I hope you're well. In the meantime, I welcome so many different agents from around the world. Welcome everyone. Please remain on the mute modality. It's very, very important to remain on the mute modality this morning, this afternoon, and this evening. I can see as well that Nabil joined us. Hello, Nabil, always very fresh. I can see Bajinder, my colleague from London. Hello, Bajinder, good morning. I start from you as usual. How are you? How is everything in London? You have to unmute yourself, Bajinder. You are still on mute modality, Bajinder. Still on mute.
Thank you, Richard. Very good morning. Last week, David came to my office. That was quite a good sunny day, and even today, London is same sunny. So I think sun comes with David to London. So welcome. Good morning, David. Good morning, Nabil. And Balraj is also there. So welcome everyone to this wonderful workshop we are going to have today. Yes, Richard.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your smile. Hello, Barai. Nice to see you as well there. Hello, everyone. So I just take one more minute myself because I can see that more agents are joining us at the moment. So I always know there's some technical issue coming in before to join here together. So I can see we are reaching about 70, 75 agents around the world. David, you are located in Winchester. Winchester is the old capital from the UK, correct?
Winchester is the original capital of the UK. London may be the capital now, but it's the new capital. We're the old capital of England. A bit of history, bit of culture, Richard. So yeah, one quick note, Richard, while you're here. Andy, I'm afraid, has been unavoidably detained. So I will be acting on behalf of Andy as well. So my colleague Nabil, my colleague Maggie's here, of course, my colleague Donna. We're all going to be here. We're all looking forward to chatting to these amazing partners and agents and friends. And yes, and I think, Richard, I've organized my technology properly so I can share my screen and use the presentation on my side. Fingers crossed.
Fantastic, fantastic. In the meantime that you are sharing your screen, I just want to speak to the agents and I will tell them a few things which I think is very, very important. First of all, today we have here directly the speaker from the University of Winchester. There is a team which includes as well Maggie Lin from the University of Winchester. She will join in a later stage with her presentation. I would like to inform everyone that this workshop will be recorded. So that means that at the end of the workshop, we will do a follow-up with all of you and we will send you a copy of the registered workshop. So I still need to welcome more and more agents at the meantime. So sorry if I'm just stopping for 1 second. What is very important during this day here at the Winchester University is remain on the mute modality. Very, very important. If you have any questions, and this logical, you will have plenty of questions, you can go down. There is a chat button below on Zoom, as you can see, and you can put your question on the chat system. Logically, I would like to invite everyone before to start to put the question there to let David and the rest of the team give the presentation, because it happens sometimes that you're asking questions which they are not even start to give the presentation. So very important, remain with us, let them give the presentation. And sometimes I will interrupt David and I will ask him some questions which we receive as well from Instagram, because we are as well on Instagram today for this. Very interesting, quite new, David. So we are on Zoom, on Instagram this morning, and we are reaching now 80 agents. We are getting there to reach 100 agents shortly. So in the meantime, David, you can start to share your screen.
Thank you, Richard. I will. And a quick note, my colleague, the amazing Donna, is monitoring our questions. So as Richard said, if you have any questions for us, pop them in the chat box and Donna will then share them around and certainly answer all the questions that she can. So what I intend to do is to do my presentation And I hope you can all see my screen. Can you yell out, Richard, if that's okay? Yep.
Yeah, it looked very, very nice. And we saw before that you had a trip
Perfect.
to Norway. Before I was seeing Norway on the backside, with always amazing, you know, when you go to Norway, which is a beautiful country. And, you know, David Street is the director, so it's able as well to meet him directly around the world. He's traveling a lot. So in the months of April, he will be in India. So I will send all of you who are from India as well the information where you can meet David Street in the month of April in India, and logically in the next months. So David, I think we are ready. You can.
Okay, Richard, can I just check? Can you see the image behind me? Is it the West University, or is it the amazing photograph of a girl?
Is amazing photograph of the girl.
Excellent. Becoming a Winchester student. That's the first thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, before we start, everybody, I should just tell you today is the 2-year anniversary of the UK lockdown for COVID. It was 2 years ago exactly today that the UK locked down, and of course every other country had different timings, but goodness me, everybody, haven't we learned a lot in 2 years about communication and the value of communication? So for those of you who've struggled through these last 2 years, and for agents particularly, it's been a terrible 2 years, I had to take my hat off to you for your patience and your enthusiasm. Hopefully now we're starting to see the world becoming a better place with COVID. So congratulations everybody for making it through 2 years. And now it's almost business as usual. So this presentation is about what we're doing at Winchester and how we want to work and help with you guys. So first things first, welcome to Winchester. As Richard said, the old capital of England, this is our campus. It's beautiful. You're all working as partners with universities in the UK and beyond. It's a tough business. We know that. So at Winchester, we do an unusual thing, which is we listen and we make 4 golden promises to all our partners. Promise number 1, we will answer your emails quickly. There's nothing more frustrating than contacting a university about a student and getting no reply at all. At Winchester, my colleagues, faster than me, unfortunately, will answer emails quickly. Number 2, we will make offers quickly. We know it's really important. This is a super competitive business. So if we take too long, your students will go somewhere else. If we don't make offers quickly, let us know. 3, we will pay your commission quickly. Business is business. If you've worked hard to get your students to Winchester, we should work hard to get you the money. And most important, we will look after your students. You know as well as I do, the only successful marketing, word of mouth. If your students have a good experience, they'll tell their friends and family. We will look after your students. So as Richard said, this is the international team. We are 4 main people here. I'm responsible for Japan, Norway, and Hong Kong. My colleague Nabil, you'll hear from him shortly about visas. He takes care of the Indian subcontinent, Africa, the Gulf states. Donna has a wonderful task with the Americas and most of the European Union. And Maggie, who's super experienced, China and Southeast Asia. So when you're contacting us, these are the people to contact. We have a general international email, which I'll give you in a second, but these are the 4 staff who work here at Winchester for you. The university itself is a public university. Oxford, Cambridge, Winchester, we're all public universities. We're established in 1840, so we're a middle-aged university. That's okay, I'm middle-aged too. But it means we know what we're doing. We didn't start yesterday. It's a well-established public university. And we were recently shortlisted as UK University of the Year. This is important. It's a quality university. We're a medium-sized British school, about 9,000 full-time students, and about 10% of our students are international. However, we kind of joke, but we're not joking, there are no international students at Winchester. There are Winchester students at Winchester. They may come from India and Japan and China and Norway and America and Uzbekistan and all over the world. What unites them is not their nationality, but that they are Winchester students. Lots of arts programs, huge business school, education, health and well-being, social sciences. These are our strengths as a university. And 80% of our students are women. It's the highest in the UK. So my plea for all of our agents is please send boys. We have a lot of women in Winchester and they're lovely. And we know who we are as a university, so please send boys. It's also the safest university in the UK. This is fundamental. When you're sending your students abroad, they have to be safe. It's not boring, it's just really safe. The crime rate in Winchester is lower than Japan. That's how safe Winchester is. So you can have confidence sending students to us. We will look after your students. They're in a very, very safe place. We teach in small groups, typical class sizes here, 15, 20 students in a class. This gives students a voice. Most international students are very shy. In a big class of 150 students, there's no way they're going to speak up and ask a question. In a small group, they feel more comfortable. We're not a small university, we're a medium-sized university, but we believe in small group culture to give students a voice. It's the place where our students can become more than students. We work really hard with our students to give them a transformational education experience. They'll come to us, young people, mostly. They'll come out mature, confident individuals ready to work. Image you've got there is one of our most popular courses, nursing at Winchester, really popular, fabulous course at Winchester. And we'll give all of your students the chance to do more than just be students. They'll have the chance to grow emotionally, socially, professionally, as well as academically at Winchester. There's a bit of text at the bottom right-hand corner you might want to look at. We're ranked second in the UK for quality education by the Times. There's 160 universities in the UK, and our ranking for quality of education is second. That's fabulous. Again, it reassures your students and your partners. We know what you're doing. And again, there's some shots, the kind of university we are, bit of physio, bit of filmmaking, but small group culture.
David, I want to inform you that we reach at the moment 100 agents on the workshop, and we are reaching about 12 agents on Instagram.
Perfect. Well done, Richard. Well done, Baljinder. Not a surprise. Excellent organization as usual. Once the students have finished with us, the journey's just begun. They've got to get a job. All the students are borrowing money, lending money to come to university in the UK. They've got to get a job when they've finished. We're ranked in the top 10 in the UK for graduate employment. We work really hard to provide a pathway for our students, British, international, everybody, to move on from being a student to being employed. For many of the markets you guys represent, the knowledge your students can stay in the UK for 2 years and work is really attractive. But that only works if the students can get a job. At Winchester, as you can see, we have an excellent record of students, international students, staying and working and earning money after their program. And we will look after your students. We are supporting your students. It's a tough old business being a student, as all of you agents know. So the more support we can give, the better. Our work with your students doesn't begin when they apply. It really begins when they arrive. Making sure that when they land, we catch them and we look after them and we provide for them, as you can see, with some amazing facilities for support. One of them is our £50 million West Down Centre. This is where the business and technology students have their programs and nursing students. It looks incredible, doesn't it? But it should do. We paid for it for our students, your students. So although this may be the ancient capital of Britain, this is what our university looks like. Modern, sophisticated, fit for purpose. The city of Winchester, if you didn't already know, is also ranked as the #1 place to live in the UK. It's the nicest place to live in the UK officially. If you don't know where it is, there we are in the south, in the middle, not too far from Southampton, Portsmouth, Bournemouth, not too far from London. In fact, close to London, but not too close. London's a lovely place to visit and a terrible place to live. Our students love the fact they're close to, but not in London. It means Winchester quieter, safer, and cheaper. Winchester is a wonderful place to live. That's the cathedral. That's where your students have their graduation ceremony. It is a tourist haven, popular, cultural, sophisticated, wealthy, socially liberal Winchester. The area around Winchester is an area of outstanding natural beauty. And for those of you who are lucky enough to live and work in India, I can remind you about what fresh air used to be like. Well, in Winchester, we still know. We are in an area of outstanding natural beauty, but we also have great facilities for our students too. It's also the place where your students, as I mentioned before, can have a voice, where the students can be themselves. It's not a place to be who you want to be. It's a place to be who you are. So we really bring out the individuality of our students. We do the right thing. We sponsor refugees. We're the University of Social Justice. We're carbon neutral. These are all important things to be in the 21st century. And with the conflict now in the world, there's never been a more important time to be a university of sanctuary, culture, and individuality. And we've got to get your students graduated and working. So some of our honorary graduates, some of our regular graduates here, showing you just how a wonderful place Winchester is. This is the city of Winchester. It's incredible. It looks like a medieval European city, which is good because it's a medieval European city. These are our programs, our undergraduate programs. Lots of business, digital technology, social programs, media, performance, health programs. Postgraduate courses, 1 year full-time. Again, business, the MBA, international business, huge popular courses, small group culture. And as I said, we have to get your students here. They have to graduate. It's a #1 priority for us to get your students successfully, comfortably, happily graduating and into the world of work. A lot of international students worry when they come to university in the UK that they're not going to be good enough. Well, you don't have to be a world champion to be a student at Winchester. Having said that, we do have students who are world champions. One of them, Takashi from Japan, who came from a college in Tokyo called the NIC International College, a brilliant, brilliant place. He came to us, event management, wonderful guy, and he is a world champion. But they don't have to be. Students don't have to be. Housing. We ask our students, our international and our British students too, for 90-60, to live within 90 miles or 60 minutes of Winchester. This means their chance of success, of visa compliance, of integrating with other students is much stronger. The further away the students live, the less chance they'll have to join those student societies, to comply with their visas and to attend their lectures. So when you are advising your students about Winchester, if they're living in London, Southampton, Portsmouth, Reading, Oxford, and Winchester, of course, that's fine. Further than that, there's a real problem that the students may not fully integrate with the university and run the risk of losing their visa, which will be a disaster, of course. Housing on campus is guaranteed for international students. Once they've gone firm with us, they apply for housing, it's guaranteed. Free Wi-Fi, of course, family accommodation, and we'll also help students get accommodation off campus if they want. There are full-time wardens and there is security as well. This is our housing. It's lovely. It's on the campus, it's modern, and we mix the students together, British and international, because your students aren't international students, they're Winchester students. Now, I know many of you are working in the Indian subcontinent. So with apologies for those guys who are not working in India, I thought it's quite useful just briefly to outline the Indian entry requirements so there's no misunderstandings. We run a foundation year 0. So Indian students, 10+2, below 70% will come on to year 0. Undergraduate year 1, 10+2 above 70%. Both groups need, of course, 5.5 in IELTS. And postgraduate, 10+2+3, 55%, IELTS of 6. Our entry requirements are all online on the website, and for every country, just about, I think, but we have an agent this morning, there's an entry on our website for requirements for those countries. If we haven't, I apologize, let me know, and we'll put them on there. Now, entry requirements and money. IELTS, we need IELTS from nearly every student. You need IELTS for a visa, we need IELTS too. Academic background, references and personal statement. Please, colleagues, when you're sending applications to Winchester through UCAS or direct to us for postgraduates, if the application is complete, passport, qualifications, personal statement, transcripts, it means we can make your offers to your students much more quickly. If we have to go back to our agents again and again for more information, it slows everything down, it ties everybody up. So please, a heartfelt plea from Winchester, when you're sending applications, do so everything together. WEBA are the masters of this. The incredible Baljinder and Richard and the big team that they represent, they'll take care of this for you. They'll help you with all of this. They know exactly what they're doing. Money for this year, not too bad. Mid-ranking university, mid-ranking fees. Fees, quite reasonable. Accommodation fee, very reasonable. We're not in London. Living costs, average. Total, doable. Not too high, not too low. The undergraduate and postgraduate fees, allowing decent commission, but not too high. Some programs, of course, nursing, physio, and some PG programs, MBA, have a higher fee, but generally that's where they are. Now, new for this year for the University of Winchester, all students from what countries the UKVI deem high risk, those countries where the students have to provide evidence of finance, will have to have a pre-CAS credibility interview as the final stage of the application process. So the students will apply, get an offer quickly, of course, make a firm choice, pay the tuition fee deposit, have some work with you on credibility, of course they will, submit a CAS request, and when everyone's ready, they'll then have an interview with one of my colleagues, Adrian, Nabil, or somebody else, just to make sure we're all happy. And once that's been ticked, thumbs up, they then get their CAS. That's new for this year. Last year, some students got interviews. This year, all of the students who require UKVI high-risk countries. So unfortunately, it means India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Kenya, Sri Lanka, not, I'm pleased to say, Japan, America, Norway, and various other countries, just those where the UKVI have said we want evidence of finance. The last date we can receive applications this year from countries again deemed high risk by the UKVI is the last day of July for postgraduate students. So if you've got students applying for postgraduate study and they're from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, etc., then you've got plenty of time, but the deadline to get the application into us, 31st of July. The last date we will issue CAS statements this year for postgraduate and students doing one-year courses, 2nd of September. So by that point, everything has to have been completed, including the pre-CAS credibility interview. The reason I mention all of this is IELTS. If your students need IELTS, if they leave it too late, they're going to run out of time. So again, a plea from us, get your students taking IELTS as soon as possible. It just gives everybody more time. Last day we're issuing CASs for undergraduate applicants this year, a week later, 9th of September. This means that everyone's got a fighting chance of getting a visa. Last year and the year before, as we know, COVID made getting visas and flights a nightmare. It was so difficult. Visa offices were closed, IELTS centers were closed. There weren't any flights. There was quarantining, there was self-isolation. It was terrible. This year, touch wood, fingers crossed here, it should be a lot better. So we're going back to, we hope, business as almost normal. And the last date for the students, your students, to physically be here on campus, 3rd of October. After that point, they can't register on campus. We wouldn't be compliant with the UKVI regulations. So these are new for this year, just to focus everyone's attention on the fact that with COVID hopefully on the back burner now, we can go back to being a regular starting point for students. And as I mentioned before, 90-60, we're looking for students to live within 90 miles of the university by traveling, or 60 minutes commuting time from Winchester, just like the British students do. It just makes their chance of success so much better. Now, almost finally, how do you get to Winchester as a student? Number one, you will submit your application in full via UCAS, WEBA, of course, or online for postgraduate. Those of you working with WEBA, they'll take you through this. Don't you worry. They know exactly what they're doing. Baljinder has control of the whole situation. Super expert, knows what he's doing. You will then receive an offer letter. If your students are good enough, a conditional letter for the students who are still studying or haven't got English, unconditional if they've met all the conditions of the entry. Your students, of course, will then make us the firm choice immediately via UCAS for the undergraduates or by email for the postgraduates. Students who are still conditional will obviously have to show us evidence they've met the conditions of their offer. And this year, £5,000 tuition fee deposit. That's required from all UKVI high-risk students. If the students are not required to show evidence of finance, Norway, Japan, America, then it'll be a £2,000 deposit. But for those who are required to show evidence of finance, £5,000 tuition fee deposit. So again, Baljinder will have your control here for the Indian and Bangladeshi and Pakistani students, super students, but they'll pay a £5,000 tuition fee deposit. They'll also submit a CAS request form to the University of Winchester via their agent, and then they'll have their credibility interview when we're happy that it's the last thing we need to do. And once they've passed the credibility interview, we'll issue the CAS, not to the student, but to the agent. So the Baljinder here can get the CASs, have a look at them, make sure they're okay, tell them we got it wrong, and make sure we get it right. The student, with your help, will then apply for their visa. And then when the visa is granted, they and you let us know. It's a simple 10-step plan. I would urge you, if you're not yet working with Winchester, you'll be talking to Richard and to Baljinder about how this works. They are the umbrella partner for many of our agents, and they know exactly what they're doing. So they will help you with this as well. But it's a simple 10-step plan to get your students from being an applicant to being a registered student at Winchester. Now, normally at this point, we'd have questions and answers. But actually what we're going to do now is, I'm just checking the time here. We have got half an hour before we have the wonderful Professor Martin Broad from the business school doing a presentation. So this is probably a good chance, Richard, if you want to add anything, or perhaps to show the videos.
Yep. No.
So I'll stop sharing my screen now. There we go.
You shared to me yesterday an email, correct?
With 2 videos.
With 2 videos. You can share your video as well.
Okay, I will see if I can do that. I'm not sure that I can, Richard, but I'll do my best. So bear with me, everybody.
Yeah, because then it will be a mix up with the computer if I will do this myself.
Okay, well, what I'm going to do, colleagues, is I'm going to show you 2 videos. One is about how amazing Winchester is, and one is about the student, the individual student journey at the University of Winchester. So here we go. So I'm just going to share my screen here again, Richard, if that's okay with you.
Oh, it's fine. You can go ahead.
Okay, I'll share my screen. So hopefully you can now see.
Yes.
The video. You got that? Yeah?
Yeah, perfect.
Excellent.
Never find the same, that's why you choose. My chest to lie, and we'd get lost in the light, or we'd get lost in the night. 1, 2, 3, 4. Contain her, but who cares when I can't help myself all the way, fighting to exclaim, on my chest you lie, oh, I get lost in the night, I get lost in the light. On my chest you lie, oh, I get lost in the light, oh, I get lost in the night, the night. Oh, I get lost, oh, I get lost, I get lost, oh yeah, I get lost. She blew her cheeks red, at least expect to find the love I live to.
I love that video because it says so much about the University of Winchester, the location, where we are. But I'm also going to show another video, which is about the international student life at Winchester, because we thought who better to talk about Winchester life as international students than international students. So I'll show the video, we'll have some questions and answers, and then Professor Martin Brawl will talk about the business courses at Winchester. Then the Bill will talk about the visas. And then we're going to have a couple of our own international students on a little panel, Devi and Darshi, and they'll talk about what their life is actually like at Winchester. But in the meantime, this is a video made by our students for our students about their life at Winchester.
That's me, camera in hand, on a boat on the fjords near my hometown of Stavanger, Norway at 8 years old. I'm Tyrell, a second-year film production student at the University of Winchester. Still attached to my camera at all times, I have so many photos from my first year, I thought I'd put them all together and show you what it was all about. Leaving Norway to attend university in Britain didn't turn out to be as daunting as I might have first thought. It's a common saying that the friends you make at uni are the friends you'll have for life. I think that's so true. This is Rishi. Rishi was in my accommodation and on the same course as me. We hit it up straight away. We often study in the library at West Downs. West Downs is so good to photograph and has loads of cool spots to chill, gardens, and even a contemplation space. Here is Safinor from India and Sean from the UK. We became a proper crew. Sean's in a band and studies music. The music suite is mad brand new and so professional. Safinor is a drama student and is amazing. She introduced us all to the Showstopper Society. There are loads of societies here at Winchester. It's such a great way of meeting new people. When it comes to work, the university offers lots of great teaching spaces and the lecturers are really passionate about their research. It feels like a really supportive and creative environment. We also have access to loads of interesting facilities, whether you study journalism, dance, physiotherapy, psychology, or even forensics. Speaking of interesting stuff, this is the cathedral. It's beautiful, world famous, and one of the largest in Europe. I really enjoyed exploring the city, especially all the different cafes this town has to offer. Rawberry is one of my faves. On this day, Rishi lost his favorite hat in the Itchen River. It was very traumatic for him, very funny for us. We found it later, downstream. St. Catherine's Hill, that's where my camera broke. Of course, Rishi had one, so I'm actually in this one. There's so much green space everywhere in and around Winchester. It's crazy. One of my favorite nights of the year was going to the theater to see The Crucible. We went to a bar afterwards and sat there for hours just talking away and then enjoying fish and chips, of course. I had all these preconceptions from film and media about British culture, but I kind of embraced British life. It's easy to adjust. I just wanted to explore and learn about it with a nice cup of tea. So there it is. A snapshot is my first year as an international student at the University of Winchester. What an amazing year. Looking forward to year 2.
Very nice video. Very, very nice.
What a lovely, lovely person. So the position is the University of Winchester is open for business. We've got a bit of time now, so Nabil very kindly said he's happy to go ahead, Richard, and do his incredible presentation on visas. So are you ready for that?
Yeah, you have to give the screen back, first of all, and then after Nabil can join his presentation.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Nabil.
Richard? Yeah, hi, Richard. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. We can see you on the big screen at the moment.
Fantastic.
Theo, thank you for your support and your help in the last years. I know it's not easy. It was the COVID. There was a lot of, difficult situation for your staff, for everyone involved, including myself, including, I hope you're not, but, it was quite a difficult time. So thank you very much, really. We really appreciate your help. So we are now looking here to hear about Nabil, about his presentation. And this is a very, very important part when we go for the student visa. Thank you, Nabil. The screen is all yours. You can unmute yourself.
Unmute, yeah.
No, you're still on mute. You're still on mute. Okay, now it's fine.
I'm okay now, yeah? Okay,
Yeah.
So here we go. Can you see the screen?
Yes, I can see it perfectly.
Okay. So, my name is Nabil Noor. Yeah, what?
Sorry, there was someone who...
No worries.
It's very important, everyone, to remain on mute modality. This is very, very important. Thank you very much, so that Nabil can give the presentation. You can go.
Ready? I can go now? Yeah. Okay, right. So, hello, everybody. My name is Nabil Noor, and I'm part of the international recruitment team. So I work with David Street. I look after recruitment from Africa, from the Middle East, and the Indian subcontinent. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about visas for the UK, student visas for the UK. So next, please. Right, so the student visa route, that's what it's called. Next, please. The student visa route basically replaces the Tier 4. So next, please. Yeah, so the student route, which was launched in October 2020. So it's quite new. It's only about a year and a half old, so less than 2 years in the system. Replaces the Tier 4. I'm still getting lots of emails from both students and agents referring to Tier 4. Tier 4 doesn't exist anymore. It's been now replaced completely by the student route, which has slightly different procedures and regulations, which I'm going to tell you about now. Next, please. So it's all based on the point system, and there's 70 points that are allocated in order for a student to be able to get a visa. 50 of those points are given by the CAS, the Confirmation of Acceptance of Studies, which is actually issued by the university. And this is as before with Tier 4, exactly the same. So 50 out of 70 points is issued by the CAS itself. Next, please. The next 10 points are financially related. Next, please. So applicants need to provide evidence that they can afford the tuition fees and living costs of 1,023 per month times 9 months. So for living costs, students applying for Winchester need to show £9,207 for 1 year. It doesn't matter if the course is for 3 years, they just need to show living costs for 1 year. If it's London, it's actually more than that, but Winchester, the cost of living is cheaper, so it's 1,023 times 9 months. Now, the students can deduct the following when they apply for their visa. So in terms of financial documentation, these are deductions that they can make. Obviously, as David mentioned earlier on in his presentation, we require all our international students to pay a deposit. So this deposit can be deducted from the amount of money they need to show when they apply for their visa. And that will be stated on the CAS as well. Students can also deduct 1,265. It's a funny number, but this is given by the UK government. This is not up to the university. So it's £1,265 can be deducted if students have paid and are staying in campus accommodation. If students are staying with friends or relatives in Winchester, Southampton, or nearby, they cannot deduct anything. They have to show, as I mentioned earlier on, 1,023 times 9 months. They cannot make any deductions if they're staying with friends or relatives, only if they're staying on campus. And that's up to a maximum of 1,265. The University of Winchester also offers a number of scholarships. So if any of your students are fortunate enough to be awarded a scholarship, that will be deducted from the amount of money they need to show when they apply for their visa. So if they get a £2,000 scholarship, that would also be mentioned on the CAS, for example. Now, here's a link which goes into a lot of detail about all the financial requirements for the student visa. What I've done, I've given you a very short bullet point summary of this. So if you click on this link, it's going to be much more detailed than this. Next, please. The final 10 points are relating to English language requirements. So as I said previously, it's 70 points, 50 is for the CAS, 10 is for finance, 10 is for English language. The University of Winchester does not give any IELTS or PTE waivers at all. This is what students need in terms of applying for their visa. They need a minimum of 5.5 overall with 5.5 in each component. Now, many of our courses like postgraduate or nursing require a higher IELTS requirement, but that would be the academic entry requirements. I'm talking now about the visa requirement for English language. So for the visa, they only need to show 5.5 in each component. Now, if a student is going to show an IELTS, they must have 5.5 in all 4 components in one exam, in one sitting. The UK government does not allow us to combine 2 different IELTSs with different scores. We cannot mix and match. It has to be one sitting, one IELTS or PTE or TOEFL. Next, please. Again, similar to the finance link I provided earlier, here's the English language link. So if you want to find out which English language qualifications are acceptable for the visa application, just click on that link and it talks about IELTS, it talks about PTE, it talks about TOEFL and other English language qualifications. But generally speaking, we do not give English language waivers like IELTS. So the next thing I want to talk about is a little bit about the cost. Next, please. Now, students applying for a visa from abroad need to pay £348. If they're applying from within the UK, they have to pay more. They have to pay £475. Don't ask me why they have to pay more if they're based in the UK, but most of your students will be based outside the UK, so it's £348. Next, please. Now, in some countries, students can pay extra in order to speed up the visa process. So it's like an express service or something, but there'll be an extra charge for that. That's why we encourage students to apply for their visa as early as possible, not to have to pay extra money to speed up the visa application. Next, please. Students also, this is different from tier 4. Students have to pay an immigration health charge for each year that they're studying. So if a student is coming in for a 1-year master's, they have to pay 470. If they're coming for a 3-year undergraduate, it's 470 times 3. They have to pay that when they apply for their visa, not after they get their visa. All right. Okay, next, please. So what is the visa process for the University of Winchester? Each university has slightly different processes. Our processes are as follows. What are the requirements? Students must accept the unconditional offer. So students have to have met all the academic requirements for the course. We cannot have students holding a conditional offer on English and then apply for a CAS. They must have met all the academic entry requirements, have an unconditional offer, and have accepted the offer either through UCAS, if they apply through UCAS, or by email, if they apply through the university system. Next, please. They need to pay a deposit, which they can pay either online through the university online store or shop, or by bank transfer. Without a deposit payment, we cannot process a CAS. Next, please. There's a CAS application form which students have to complete. It's a very basic application form. It just provides basic information of whether they applied to the UK previously, whether they had any visa refusals. It's a very basic form. We need that in order to process the CAS. Next, please. We need copies of passport, an up-to-date copy. We've had cases where students, when they applied, they submitted one copy of their passport. Then after several months, they got a new passport, and then the CAS was incorrect. We need the most up-to-date passport copy when they apply for their visa, and copies of all the qualifications. The reason is on the CAS, we have to mention their passport details. So passport number, expiry date, all the qualifications, which university they studied. So we need all that information to produce the CAS, which is, like I mentioned, is 50 points out of 70. So if any of that information is incorrect, the CAS will be wrong and the visa will be refused. So this is why it's very important for us to have copies of all these documents at this stage. Next, please. We need to have confirmation from you as our representatives that you have checked the students' finances, as I've mentioned earlier. They need to show all their tuition fees and their living costs for 1 year. So you need to go through their bank statements. We may require you to send us copies of these from time to time, depending on particular cases. Next, please. As David mentioned in his presentation, new for this year, we are insisting that all our international students do a pre-CAS interview. Now, this is not a credibility interview. The credibility interview is not done by a university, it's done by the immigration and the UKVI. This is a pre-CAS interview. In order for us to process the CAS, we would like to interview the student to make sure they understand very well the university, the course, why they're coming, the commitments, and so on. The questions will be very similar to a credibility interview, but this is a pre-CAS interview done by the university. Next, please. We can go all the way down. Yeah, so that's it. Stop. So basically, these are all the links that I can provide you today. 2 are UK government links to visa process. One is provided by UCAS. Although UCAS mainly deal with undergraduate, it's also applicable for postgraduate. It's a very good information on the UCAS portal. And then the final one is the University of Winchester link for visa process. So you've got lots and lots of links there, lots of information there to go through. But please, we're here to help. If you have any questions or queries later on, you can just email us and we'll try and get back to you as quickly as possible. So thank you very much for listening to my presentation.
Thank you, Nabil. Thank you very much. Now, before to move forward with David, I would like to invite all the agents to visit the website of Winchester, because the website of Winchester is really up to date with all the information for if you're looking for some course, if you're looking for scholarship, if you're looking for accommodation. Maybe David, you can explain a bit more about the website of the University of Winchester, because it's fundamental. If you start to represent the University of Winchester, recruit the University of Winchester, it's very important from you that you will go inside in the website, have a look, find your course yourself. I mean, this is a very important work of every single agent. So David, it's all yours.
Yeah, thank you, Richard. That's a very good point. I mean, the website is the starting point for your research with Winchester. As I mentioned earlier, on the international pages of our website, we have entry requirements by country. So whichever country you're working in, you should find that there's a guide there for the type of qualifications you're looking for. Nabil's excellent presentation on visas. We double that up with information on how to apply for a visa. The links that Nabil went through are also on our website. There's also a link to our YouTube channel where the videos we've just seen, and there's loads more. We've got about 40 or 50 different course-specific videos too, particularly at undergraduate level. So if you're a student looking at doing everything from business to physiotherapy to animal welfare, there'll be a video on the website, on our YouTube channel, linked to the website. So it's the first point of contact for Winchester will be the website. Now, we have a generic email address, which is international@winchester.ac.uk, which reaches us all. Most of you are working with WEBA as the umbrella agent for Winchester. This is very important because those guys who are working with WEBA, they'll be the go-between between what the work that you're doing and the University of Winchester. A number of you are working directly with Winchester. Fine. In that case, one of the four of us, Maggie, Donna, Nabil, or me, will be your contact point, but the information will always be the same. So contact Richard and Balgender. Now, what I'm going to do is Richard's got the presentations from this morning and the video links as well. He will then send those out to you guys and the link to this recording of the workshop. So you can play it back later on, have a look at it. And as Richard said, for those of you lucky enough to be working in India, you might shortly get a visit from me because I'm going to be going out. My visa has now been granted for India. I'm pleased about it. Thanks to Balginder's hard work and his contacts in the embassy. I've now got a visa for going to India. So I'll be flying out on Tuesday of next week. So I'll be in Delhi, Chandigarh, Mumbai, Kochi, Chennai, Kolkata.
Coimbatore.
I will be. So I will be all of most of the major cities. So if you want to see me in India, drop me a line and we'll work out what's possible and what's not possible. Now, Richard, I believe that Professor Martin Broad should be with us now, and he is going to be talking with great confidence, of course, about his programs, the business, the development technology courses. So, Martin, are you with us this morning yet? Richard, can you see if Martin has made it to join us yet? Do you know on the list of...
I'm checking if Martin is available, but I cannot see any Martin at the moment.
No, few minutes yet, no. So it may not be
no
yet.
No problem, absolutely no problem. I mean, by the way, in the meantime, if everyone has some question, just put the question down on the chat system. Donna is replying all the question coming in on the chat system. I saw someone want to ask some question to Nabil. You just type down your questions on the chat system so that they are able to reply to you. David, you can continue with the presentation if Martin is not here with us.
Well, I'm hoping that we have Devi and Darshi with us. I thought I saw Darshi logged in a bit earlier on. Is Devi here as well? But if they are, what we can do is we can jump straight to our own international student, one from India, one from Mauritius, one undergraduate, one postgraduate, and they can say a little bit, if they're willing to do so, about their experience as international students at Winchester. So if you're here, if you want to make yourself known, unmute yourselves, Darshi and Devi, and we'll hear from you guys.
Hello, David.
Good morning, Darshi. Good morning, Devi. if your cameras are working, if you want to set the cameras. Oh, lovely. Good morning, good morning. Perhaps, Devi, if we start with you, Devi, can you tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're from, your journey to Winchester, and then Darshi will do the same thing with you. So, Devi, the floor is yours.
So my journey with Winchester, I would say it's quite long. I would say the moment I start my career. So of course I was on the other side, that is of agent side last year, and working with Winchester was great, but study experience is something that I cannot describe. I'm really happy that I took a decision to take a career break and come to the Winchester and start studying here. So from the moment of registration till my visa process, and as soon as I landed here, I straight away got a lot of communication from university about my well-being, how am I doing. As I came in last September, COVID was there, so I used to get a lot of updates from university, and I started up in September. And experience with study is obviously amazing. It's I would say it's there is no doubt that it's one of the top 10 university in UK to study with, and there is a lot of support that international students get here. Like the moment we registered here, we got library service, student services, mental health service, IT service, library, and the peer mentor. So there are a lot of options that students get here to make sure that students are successful at the study. So even lecturers, tutors, the workshop and the webinars and the extra classes and the seminars that are organized for the various faculties helps a lot to stay online with the studies. And university, like from my point of view, from the day I registered till today, I was not well last week, so my tutor knows that I'm not well. They updated me, they asked me to fill in with what I've missed. So this is really good experience studying at the University of Winchester, and I can't recommend it more to students who are willing to have a major life experience of studying abroad. This is a really right place.
Thank you very much.
Hello.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Was very
Thanks, Devi. Darshi, do you want to say a few things about where you're from and your journey to Winchester, and also how your life has been since you joined us?
Sure. So thank you so much. Well, I think Devi covered a lot. So I will just tell you about my own experience. So first of all, I come from Mauritius, very little island in the middle of the Indian Ocean, very close to Africa. So we are kind of similar to African continent, if you want, our culture based. So for me, I know UK. I just heard about UK. My parents, my mom studied in the UK years back, even my uncle and my grandfather. So I think it was just automatic for my parents to send me here to study. And well, it's my second degree, and I started my second degree here in the UK, and I'm loving it. I'm totally a different person since I entered the UK, surely. So my journey as an international student, to be honest with you, has not been easy. Considering like when it came to visa applications in Mauritius to come here, and because of the visa because of COVID and visa issues, I got delayed to get in the UK at Winchester for my degree, and that was a panicking moment for me. So I was quite late. So I think I entered like the 6th week, on the 6th week of the academic year. So right now I'm first year, second semester. So
Darshi, her experience was very typical, I think, of many students that you guys looked after last year, which was getting to the UK was a bit of a scramble. But the support that Darshi got from my colleagues here that Devi got was very typical, I think, of what Winchester's doing. The becoming a student, it was easier in some cases than others, but they are such a valuable part of our university community. So if you want to chat to Darshi and to Devi on the chat function, that would be a brilliant idea. But I can see that Professor Martin Broad's here now. So Richard, I think we need to turn over to an academic now. We've had the amateurs, and now it's time for the professionals.
Thank you very much.
So with your blessing, we'll share with the screen with Martin, so Martin can introduce himself a little bit and then tell us a little bit about the programs that he represents.
Thank you, David. Thank you. And thank you to Darshi that was listening to you talking there. And I would like to say that I'm the professional and you're the amateurs. We're all here together. We're a close family knit community here at Winchester. So thank you very much. Welcome, everybody. My name is Professor Martin Broad. I'm the Dean here at the Faculty of Business, Law and Digital Technologies at the University of Winchester. I've got a few slides I'd like to share with you. Hopefully, I'll go into a share screen mode in just a moment. And hopefully the couple of short videos that we've got on there will also run. So I know I can see a few of you with cameras on. When I get to run the video, it would be great if I just get a quick thumbs up you can actually see and hear as it goes and sort of populates to the rest of the world. But with your blessing, if that's okay, I'll move into my presentation and then we can take some Q&A as we go through this. Is that okay with you all?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, lovely. So what I'm hoping that you'll all be seeing now, or coming through now, is a shared screen that has a purple background with flourishing with postgraduate study. I can see a thumbs up. Thank you very much indeed. Okay, so great to be with you all. I know we've got a large number of people on the call to learn a little bit more about the programs we have here at the University of Winchester, particularly within the Faculty of Business, Law and Digital Technologies. My own experience of working in higher education for well over 30 years now is that the vast majority of international students want to do something in the business domain. And so I'm going to spend a bit of time talking about our programs we have here within the faculty. And I'm also joined with Marie Haverley on the call. Marie is our faculty international tutor and is going to be obviously supporting the students quite extensively through their journey here at Winchester, but also reaching out to agents and to other communities across the globe as we further populate our profile of what we have to offer here at Winchester. So hopefully during the course of the next 20 minutes or so, I can excite you about the programs we've got here, talk about the programs in a bit of detail, our point of difference at Winchester as well, and hopefully give you some confidence in being able to take these programs to your potential student population that might be willing to join us here at Winchester for the September start dates. Okay, so what I'm hoping is this next video is going to run. So this is a 1-minute video just to look at the University of Winchester. It is always sunny here. If I look outside my window now, the sun is shining. So the blue sky that you'll see on this video is atypical of the University of Winchester. It doesn't rain, it's not cold, it's beautifully warm here at the moment. But if I just play this 1-minute video, if I could just get a thumbs up, you can actually hear the audio. That'd be perfect as it runs VT. So a short 1-minute video doesn't really capture everything about Winchester. What you saw there was the magnificent cathedral. That's where we have our graduation ceremonies at the end of the year. We saw there the campus. It's stoked in architectural design. I will show you in a moment our brand new building at West Downs campus. There's a £50 million investment into learning and teaching space, which is at the heart of the teaching we do here and within my faculty. But you've got this fantastic architecture and the city of Winchester in itself. It's a city, but it's a small city. In that sense, it is a very close community of students and staff that work together here within the university and within the city and the region itself. So I can't emphasize enough, if you haven't been to the UK, if you haven't been to Winchester, then you need to be coming to the geography of where we are. We're less than 1 hour's train journey to the City of London. And Winchester itself is the medieval old capital of England. So it's steeped in history, huge amount of history associated with Winchester. But let's talk about the programs and talk about postgraduate programs and also a bit about undergraduate programs as well. So, why postgraduate? I probably don't need to rehearse this too much. So I just have a single slide that really just emphasizes the point about why we should be asking students to come to study for a postgraduate education at the university in the UK. UK has the gold standard, I think, in terms of higher education. It's not just about what we deliver to students in terms of the curriculum, but it's how we deliver it and how we deliver those soft skills and those lifelong learning skills for students. So we're not just about talking, rehearsing content and asking students to reflect back exactly what we said to them. We want them to think. We want them to be independent thinkers. We want them to be lifelong learners. Critical analysis. We want them to argue with us in a good sense. We'll forget what a drift. So, it is all about engaging in a learning journey with us at Winchester, not just learning for an examination. And that lifelong learning skill, I think, is really important as we try to pull that out of students. And it can be quite difficult for some students to move away from an education system where I, as a tutor, say black is white, and the student in the examination says to me, black is white. That's not what I'm looking to do with an education here at Winchester. I'm here about trying to ensure that students understand social development goals around United Nations SDGs. We look at social justice, we look at sustainability, and we look at that moral, responsible management education in the curriculum that we deliver. We want our students to be successful, but we want them to be ethically responsible in terms of what they do going forward in terms of their career. And whilst we appreciate that students will want to be the capitalists of this world and make a lot of money, well, you can make a lot of money and you can be ethically responsible in how you make that money as well. So it's about having that moral compass around the education and what we're trying to instill in our students. Students will secure higher income from their studies, and they're more likely to secure those high-level professional jobs once they've graduated with either an undergraduate degree or even the postgraduate degree from the University of Winchester. It's about the point of difference. We are not the same as every university. You can look at the Russell Group universities, and I spent 20 years of my life in a Russell Group university. You look at Winchester, there is difference here in terms of what we deliver. The quality of the education, the passion from the staff is unequivocal that comes through in terms of what we have to offer. And you probably heard that from the students and also from David previously, that we really do genuinely care about our students being as successful as they possibly can. So I've talked a little bit there about why Winchester, what makes us different. It is about the curriculum, it's about the staff, it's about the passion of our staff, it's about the support that we put in place for the students, it's about our geography, it's about our architecture, it's about our curriculum that we deliver here. All those things come together to ensure that we are absolutely aligned in wanting students to be as successful as they possibly can through their studies here at Winchester. But, and I will say this but, it does require the students to come with the same motivation to us at Winchester. And we hear the passion coming from the students who have been speaking earlier. We do need to ensure that you as agents for us are really driving home that motivation to study, that motivation to engage from the student body is equally as passionate as it is from our staff here at the university. So we have high student satisfaction. You're hearing the praise from the students. We put an awful lot of work into the support for students. And this year it's been challenging for quite a few students arriving into us in week 5 or week 6 or week 7 of the studies and having to seriously catch up with work. And my staff and program leaders have been exemplary in trying to support the students, but that's not sustainable. So we do need to ensure that students arriving into the university are here at the very latest by the end of week 2 when we started to study the programs. Obviously, it's in their interest to be here from day 1, but we will allow students to roll onto our programs up to the end of week 2. But after that, we will have a firm cutoff going forward for this year. We do pride ourselves on the high student satisfaction, well above the student sector average, and that comes through genuinely from the passion of the staff that teach the students. And we're a smaller university. So if I reflect back to my time with my previous university, I would be bringing in 2,000, 3,000 postgraduate students into my business school. We don't want anything like that number. Great to have numbers of students, but a reasonable number of students of high quality, passionate, motivated students. We keep the numbers smaller within the university so we can provide that excellent degree of education, and we get to know the students and the students get to know us. I think that's really important, that we get that bond between the students and the staff to maximize their success from their degree. The students who graduate from Winchester have great employment prospects. I think in the southern part of the UK, we are now ranked number 1 or number 2 for graduate employability, and students graduating with postgraduate programs are in the top 10 of our students in the university sector for getting great salaried jobs within the UK and hopefully further afield they return back to their home countries. And as an accountant in the room, my profession is an accountant, it is about that return on investment. So investing money into their education, investing their time into their education, and getting that reward in terms of that upside earning potential through the rest of their career. Now, I mentioned earlier we have this new world-class centre and this new learning and teaching space that opened up. And in the bottom left-hand quadrant of the screen there, you can see the building. It has a brand new library facility. The round circular area there is our 250-seater West Downs auditorium, fantastic acoustics in terms of the lecture space. Behind that, you see a building which is filled with learning and teaching space, food courts, students-centered space for independent learning, as well as classrooms, 3D printing facilities, virtual reality, augmented reality, and even behind that building, you can just see the rooftops. That's our student village. So we're very much an enclosed space there for students to live, right next door to where they learn, and a short walk down the hill to the city of Winchester to take in its splendour of all the shops, facilities, train station to get to London if you wish to do so in less than 1 hour train journey. But what I will show you is a short video in just a moment of this new West Downs Centre. And as you watch the video, just please look at some special spaces. You'll see some circles. And so this is what we call a contemplation space. And students can sit in these circular spaces, comfortable place, plug in their headsets, listen to whale music, chill out from the normal hustle and bustle of university life. There's food courts, there's open space. It looks fantastic. It's been opened now for well over a year. And if I was just to walk out of my office and go over there, it still looks as fantastic as this video now shows. And I'll just run this for about a minute or so.
beautiful. Very nice video. Excellent, Martin. Very nice.
Thank you very much. So hopefully it's whetted your appetite into the fantastic facilities we have here at the University of Winchester. But I'm sure you want to hear a little bit more about the program. So I'll just talk a little bit about the programs for you all, just so you have a sense of what we have to offer for the students that are starting with us. We have a full-time MBA program for students who haven't done an MBA or want to move into a Master of Business Administration. That program launched for the first time in September last year. Has been a really successful program, and many of our international students have joined us, particularly from India, on that MBA program. We're launching a program in international financial management. That's starting in September this year, and we're recruiting for that program now. This program is for people who want to be managers but want to understand finance. So it's not for students who want to be an accountant, professional accountants. It's for people who want to move into management but have a good understanding of finance, so they can have a great conversation with the financial accountants within their business. And we have the more standard international business management program. All of those programs around management, the MBA, the international financial management, and the international business management have sustainability and responsible management at their core. So it's how we can ensure that students are successful in their future career, but are also ethically responsible and have that moral compass that I talked about earlier and through their studies. One-year program, traditionally set up with teaching in 2 semesters and the opportunity for doing a project-based dissertation during the summer. Our new marketing program is focused on students who want to do a pure thoroughbred marketing master's program, has innovation built into it, understands the contemporary issues around marketing. And it's for more of the students that want to understand marketing, move into marketing management, and are more focused on the qualitative aspects of marketing. So the marketing management, the doing of the marketing, the creative marketing associated with that. But if you have students who really want to get involved with much more the analytics, they're strong mathematically, then we have the digital marketing and analytics program. So this is now taking a real deep dive into the analytics power that can come from the data that can be created around website visits, the Google Analytics, crunching that data to maximize the benefit to an organization in understanding that analytics power and driving customer direction, customer travel, customer journey associated with the programs, and understand that from a mathematical perspective. The other programs we've got there center around project management. We link with the Association of Project Managers in terms of competition, and then we've got cybersecurity linking into computer science, digital media, and mathematics. In the computer science area, we have a dedicated penetration testing laboratory within the university in the West Down Centre. So it's a closed network facility that we then get students to really hammer home and to work with the technology to try to crack the technology so they can be experts in cybersecurity going forward. And cybersecurity is a peril that we all have to deal with. And recent and geopolitical concerns in Ukraine and Russia is obviously putting that very much into focus at the moment around the cybersecurity. I'm sure Dave will speak later about the scholarships, but we have international scholarships that are available. They're merit-based, based on an IELTS performance and also academic performance of a 2, 1 or greater. On IELTS a 6.5 with nothing less than 6.0. We offer £3,000 scholarships off our international programs for international students. So those are some of the postgraduate programs. In the undergraduate economy, we have a large number of programs, what you'd normally expect within faculties such as this: accounting and finance, business management, the core thoroughbred programs. Within business management, we have a focus around entrepreneurialism and innovation, so for startup businesses, and we have dedicated support within the university for students that want to start up in terms of that startup enterprise, and that permeates the undergraduate economy as well as the postgraduate economy. Undergraduate programs in marketing, events management, and fashion marketing. And within fashion marketing, just to highlight that one for a moment, we host Winchester Fashion Week here, and we have a dedicated week of activities culminating in a catwalk at the university on the 9th of April, I think it is this year. And then we've got the thoroughbred programs in computer science, computer games design. We're seeing a massive uptake in terms of applications for that program this year. I think it's rising at around about 600 or 700% increase in application rate for that program. clearly very attractive to the student population that wants to move into that part of the economy going forwards. And then we've got the hardcore mathematics programs linking into data sciences as well. So that gives you a bit of a flavour around some of those programs that we have within the university. And it is about our passion and our success in the programs to ensure that students are as successful as possible once they come to study on those programs. I'll pause there. If you want me to do any more conversation around the programs, I'm happy to do so. But Richard, perhaps I'll pass back to you and see where you would like me to spend a bit of time talking about programs, or a bit more about the curricula, or about the university, or about the faculty. So I'll hand back to you briefly.
Yes, thank you very much, Martin. I think a very important point you mentioned, beside the program, etc., is the scholarship. We got many agents who questioning about the scholarship, etc. Maybe if you can emphasize a little bit more about the scholarship, how that the merit is working, etc. It would be very helpful, Martin.
Okay, so we've introduced these scholarships at the university to help students financially where they have academic excellence. So we're looking for students who have got a minimum of a 2-1 equivalent to a UK qualification, and the International Office can help in terms of comparability. So whether that's from the Indian market, or from the Mauritius market, or from the Far East market, or from the Sub-Saharan African market, there'll be comparability. So what does an upper second look like? In my language, an upper second looks like a 60% plus in the UK economy. I appreciate that in India, a 60% plus is more like a first. So we will look at what is comparables between a UK 2-1 and the comparable qualifications you have within your countries that you're focusing on. But the agents, I'm sure, would understand comparability of their degree classifications, whether it's a GPA or whether it's a percentage. So firstly, if a student has got an upper second equivalent from their first degree, and secondly, do they have an IELTS average of 6.5 with a minimum of 6.0 in English reading, writing, listening and speaking. So a minimum of 6.0 in the 4 categories with an average of 6.5. If the student population meets those 2 criteria, then we would offer a £3,000 scholarship, fee reduction from the tuition fee level across the university. David, I see you just coming on video there. Do you want to add a little bit more on that, or have I got it spot on or otherwise?
Thanks, that's excellent. I'm just looking up the agents. We are currently updating our website. So if you go on the website for the international pages, and the scholarship information that Martin just referred to is not on there, don't panic. It's just been approved by our management team, and we are in the process of updating our website. So with Martin's support, in the next week or so, you should find an updated scholarship page on our international pages, outlining exactly, as Martin said, what the merit criteria are for the scholarships.
Okay, so that's been a change. Sorry, Dave, go on.
Martin, was it about the MBA scholarships, Martin?
So the MBA scholarship, I think, is sort of £3,000 scholarship in there as well. So that's available for students. Again, it's a merit-based scholarship. But yeah, what we're trying to do is to bring that cost of coming to the UK education system slightly lower, but we want a great academic standard coming from the student population as well. MBAs generally in the UK vary from, well, you can probably get an MBA for 12,000, goes up to 50 or 60,000 pounds, depending where you want to go. Our MBA is pitched at a price of 16,800. There's a £3,000 scholarship off that price that brings it down to 13,800. The MBA is as good as an MBA you're going to get from a Southampton University. I've worked there for 20 years. We have staff on the program bringing in guest lectures onto the program, projects on the program as well, and really give that general MBA of strategy, finance, marketing, the breadth that you're looking for a generalist Masters in Business Administration with the quality from Winchester. And just to reinforce that quality, we also do run an executive MBA program here at Winchester. That executive MBA program is geared up for people. It's a part-time program, so it won't be necessarily applicable to the international community, but it's just to factor in the quality. The executive MBA program has been running here for a number of years, even before I started. That program is aligned to the UK government's degree apprenticeship programs for senior leaders. And we bring in people onto those programs with a minimum of 5 years worth of commercial management experience. Often people who are in their late 30s, early 40s age profile, working at senior leadership level within their organizations to then give that platform to going forward. The full-time MBA program is exactly the same curricula as the executive MBA program. So you're getting the executive MBA curriculum geared towards the full-time MBA program. And the only difference in terms of the population is the student population. We're not expecting students to come in with management experience. So we are taking those recent graduates onto the full-time MBA program, but giving them the same level and the same quality of education that we give to our executive MBA, but just different groups, different cohorts. They don't mix with the exec MBA program because the exec MBA is delivered at weekends in a part-time mode fashion over 2 years. The full-time MBA program is delivered here on campus in more of a full-time mode delivery pattern. So full-time MBA, traditional, but linked to the quality we have of our MBA program, scholarships available. All the other master's programs which are listed there has that merit-based scholarship available for students as well.
Martin, that was really helpful. Thank you so much for that. It's really great to have a senior figure from the management team in the university presenting on our workshop, because it does give an authentic flavour of what we're actually doing as a university. So Martin, I want to thank you for doing your presentation this morning on behalf of the business school. I know that we've got Darshi and Devi still with us. So I wonder if I can bring Devi back in, because she's actually studying in the business. So Devi's actually studying in the business school. So maybe it'd be interesting to hear from Devi about a typical week in her life as a postgraduate business student at Winchester. So Devi, are you still with us? Devi, are you still there?
No, I don't think. I think she already went back to the classroom.
She's obviously got a class. I don't want to miss her class, Martin, which is why she's gone back to her classes, of course. But Martin, can I just say thank you for joining us this morning? Much appreciated. We've had the visa application presentation from Nabil now. So this would be a really good time for the agents, partners to ask questions to me, to Nabil, to the rest of my team. And we'll do our best to help you through the many questions I'm sure you're going to have for the international team at Winchester. So Martin, I'll bid you adieu. Thank you for that for this morning. Much appreciated. And so for the agents who are here now, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask away. It may be better, Richard, if there's a hands-up approach rather than a free-for-all. I see Darshi is still with us.
Yeah, she's back.
So what we'll do is we'll have some questions from the agents first, and then we'll have Darshi come in at the end to give a student's perspective of life at Winchester. So the screen at the moment, Richard, I see is
University of Winchester staff laptop. So you have to give the screen back, first of all, but I presume that...
I think that's from Martin's done that, I think.
Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to get back to the screen to stop sharing my screen, but I'm just struggling with Zoom at the moment. So if someone is able to wipe...
I will.
Thank you.
Excellent. Right.
Here we go.
Now we're back. I've got to say, Richard, you have some very handsome and attractive agents in the workshop this morning. Those who've got their screens on are a very good-looking bunch of people around the screen this morning. So you're obviously joining a very good-looking bunch of people. So perhaps if we work on a hands-up basis, so if any of our colleagues have questions for us or for Richard or Baljinder, please raise your hand and we'll try and go through the questions. And Richard, if you'd like to moderate this, Richard, I'll leave you in charge and we'll be here to respond.
Thank you very much. So what I say is usually the majority of the agents, they already put the question on the chat, but at the DIO, Collins, please unmute yourself so that you can put your questions there. At the DIO, Collins, you show the hands, so please, you need to unmute yourself if you want to put the questions inside. So in the meantime, we're waiting for Adeayo.
So Adideo, if you can hear us, Adideo, you're on mute. You've got your hand up. We'd love to speak to you, but we can't hear you. So Adideo, if you could put your mute off, that'd be great. But in the meantime, is there any questions from anybody else?
So I think the most of the questions already put on the chat system the last 60 minutes, and Donna and Bajinder, myself, we reply to all of them. So we are quite up to date at the moment. Maybe I have a question, David, which came inside during the workshop today. And the question is Nigeria. In Nigeria, they usually study English, especially in the last 3 years. Do they need IELTS still, or how it works this?
The challenge for the Nigerian students is that some of the best students we have are Nigerian students, but the visa process is complex. And so our interest is making sure the student has the best possible chance of getting a visa. So Nabil, can you give us some guidance on Nigeria for a second, and then maybe we'll take it from there?
Sure. So basically, we've had lots of applications from Nigeria. Many of the students, obviously, in Nigeria do the WAEC, which is the high school, and they do English throughout the medium of teaching, both at school and at university. So we're well aware that the level of English of Nigerians is very, very good. The issue, as you say, David, is the visa. And in my presentation, I provided a link to the Home Office UKVI English language criteria. There's a list of countries that the UKVI have listed. If students come from those countries, you don't need to do an IELTS. So US is listed on there, Australia is listed on there. Unfortunately, Nigeria is not listed. So if a country is not listed, then it is a requirement for us to provide evidence of English language like an IELTS or PTE. So it's not really a university decision, it is a visa issue.
Thank you very much, Nabil. So you answered the question which was made from several Nigerian agents today. This is a very important part. They ask as well one more time, what is the initial deposit for the cut letter? As David mentioned, is usually is for country which risk country, let's put it like this one, is £5,000. And the list of the risk country will be sent to you by email. So we will send you a list and we will indicate exactly which country has to pay £5,000 for deposit, and the other one, like last year, which was 2,500.
Richard's quite right. The reason we do this, everybody, is for your students. Getting the visa for many of them is the hardest part of the application process. And it would be such a shame if they worked to get the application in to study at the university, went all the way through, and at the last hurdle, the visa, they fail. So what Nabil, Donna, Maggie, and me are trying to do is to give your students the best possible chance of getting a visa and registering at the university, and therefore making you some money at the end of the day, and the students being happy at Winchester. So while it may seem quite hard, some of the qualification and the entry requirements, they are led by the UKVI. And the point of what we're trying to do, as Nabil so rightly said, is to make your students every chance of success at a visa. Obviously, if you're in your own country, if you have questions for us, please let us know. But, and I would repeat this, all universities are different. We all interpret the regulations in the best way for us and our students. So just because one university has one position on a country entry requirement doesn't mean another university will take the same position. You all, I'm sure, work with a range of different universities in the UK. You'll all know some of them are easier to get into than others. So our relationship with our partners is very much a one-to-one partnership. So if you have questions for us, specific questions for us, please email us at international@winchester.ac.uk. And we'll be very, very happy to have a chat with you about our decisions, what we're doing, and how we can help you.
Thank you, David. I come back to two more questions which came inside in the meantime. And a very interesting question from a very gentle agent, which it makes sense in somehow. He has a student and he's from Bangladesh, and the student is doing English literature, which is very interesting, and language skill. And he asked if they still need IELTS. Logically, still.
You'd think logic would say, no, they're perfectly fine. They've got a degree in English literature. Unfortunately, the UKVI doesn't work on logic. It works on lists. And no matter what the student is studying, there will still be required, bizarre as it may seem, to show evidence of English language through an IELTS test. I would add, for those of you who've been working for many years with students, the decision to take an IELTS test is often the key is whether the student is serious or not. If a student says to you, but sir, an IELTS test is very expensive, an IELTS test is very difficult, are they really going to study abroad? Probably not. By taking an IELTS test, the student isn't just demonstrating their level of English. What they're also doing is showing a commitment to study abroad. So they're not wasting your time. You work very hard. The margins are often very small. What you don't want to do is have students who will occupy you for hours, days, and won't study abroad. So the actual decision to sit for an IELTS test, in many ways, is a deciding factor. Is the student serious? So I'm not going to comment on whether I think the UKVI rules are fair or not, but the UKVI rules are the UKVI rules. So a Bangladeshi student with a first degree in English, unless it was taken in an English university here in the UK, in which case that's fine. They've got a degree from Britain. If they're studying in Bangladesh, unfortunately, it's an IELTS test. Now, Richard, I know that before Devi and Darshi are still here, Richard.
Yeah.
So I thought, Devi, if you're okay to unmute yourself, if you'd like to give us maybe an overview of a week in your life as a postgraduate student, that would be really interesting. So, Devi, if you can do that for us. Perhaps if Devi's got herself sorted out, I know Darshi's still here. Darshi, would you like to unmute yourself, put your camera back on, and give us a week in your life as an international student at Winchester? Just give us the highlights of a typical week as an international student.
Okay, so for me, I have, as you know, 2 part-time jobs right now, and I have 3 days of lectures, which is perfect because this is what I like about with our university is it schedules like our learning week. It suits like international students because we do have to work. Like for me, I have to work to be able to like do little grocery shoppings and buy here and there, and sustain myself on a daily basis. Saying so, I'm being sponsored by my parents right now for my studies and accommodation. So so I go for my part-time jobs per week and my 3 days of lecture, and I've got my shopping day, and that's a little bit my usual activity per week. Of course, university has activities for students. For example, we've got our pop nights, all Wednesdays. So haven't been there yet, but it will soon. I'm not too much, party type girl, but for those who really want to have those kind of activities, it's there. And I work for university, so we kind of have quite some activities. We have our little group of international investors. We meet frequently, and we are in contact with each other, sharing each other like experiences. So yeah, it's pretty fun. And talking about being away of London, for me, I love Winchester because it doesn't give me that rushy, crazy life. I love my mornings to be really like smooth and gentle, and where I can, have my breakfast and then go to my classes. So I can afford this kind of lifestyle here. And of course, going to London, it's like 1 hour train. It's not a problem at all for traveling. And it's very convenient for me. My job, I work in a home care right now. So as we know, international students are allowed to work 20 hours per week, which is highly sufficient, because I come from a country where the currency is really, really low. So to convert into pound sterling, it's not easy. So
If I could just leave
having
for a second, sorry, I'll just leave for a second. Darcy made a really
Yeah.
good point here, everybody. Working part-time as an international student is very attractive, but in some parts of the UK, that's not possible. But in Winchester, it is. Getting a part-time job, relatively straightforward here, but Darcy's a super example of a dedicated international student who can work 20 hours a week, but won't work 21, because the regulations say 20 hours a week during term time. So when Darcy and Devi and all the wonderful international students join us, the first thing we do is to say, please remember, you're here to study. We're looking for an 80-20 split. 80% of your time should be being an academic student, and 20% should be part-time working, making friends, joining a society, but actually that's secondary. So the emphasis is very much with Darcy and Devi. They work part-time to supplement their income, fantastic, but they're here to study. And Darcy is a good example of an outstandingly hard-working student who will be successful over her 3 years at Winchester. So with Darcy and Devi, I'm sure what I'm saying, when they applied to Winchester, they got the first sense of what this place is. There's a huge amount of support and hand-holding between a student thinking of coming to Winchester and getting here. Darcy went through a number of staff at Winchester who supported and guided and interviewed her and helped her with her visa. And then when Darcy arrived on the campus, we were there to collect her, as we will do for all of your students.
David.
So perhaps, sorry, Richard. So perhaps to sum up, Richard, before we close, just to say that Winchester's open for business. We work closely with WEBA and the amazing Baljinder to make sure that the students, the relationships work well. Richard, you're going to talk a little bit now, I think, about the closure of this workshop, but also what happens next, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. But before to go to this point, we have with us here today as well European agents. So my question is, the tuition fee for European agents, we have agents here from Italy as well, from Spain, from all around Europe. Is there any different in the tuition fee between, let's say, European agents and international? We have to understand, because now the UK is not part of the, so maybe can you explain this, that is the same for everyone? Thank you.
Due to the national disaster of Brexit, and we're not going to beat around the bush, it's a disaster. Because of Brexit, unfortunately, European students based in mainland Europe are now classed as international, like a student based in India, Hong Kong, Japan, or anywhere else. So they've gone from paying home fees, not needing visas, to being international students who pay overseas fees and require visas. So the numbers of mainland European students coming to British universities has fallen sharply, obviously, over the last few years. But what it does mean is that those European partners and those students get the same level of attention and care and support that all of our international students do. Brexit may have been a problem for the UK economy and visibility, but as far as Winchester is concerned, what it means is an international student is a Winchester student. So to answer your excellent question, Richard, a mainland European student not resident in the UK will be paying overseas fees, but they will get the benefit of the same red carpet treatment that Darcy had, that the Devi had when she came over, and all of our students get when they come through you. So the bad news is they're international for fees purposes. The good news is they get the same amazing service that all of our international students get.
Thank you, David. This was very, very important. So now what will happen next? Next, we will send out an email to everyone of you. We will include logically the recorded workshop, so you can use it for yourself, for your team, or if you want to show this as well to some of the students when you need, especially the testimonial of the students, the visa information. This is a very good workshop which you can really use during your presentation to the students or to the parents or to your sub-agents as well. So this is the first step. Then on top of that, of course, we will include the PowerPoint presentation, which David showed today. So you can use this PowerPoint presentation as well. And it's very, very important when you have your own event or your own student fairs presentation, you can use this one. This is very, very good. I use it this many times. And this is a good way to sell the University of Winchester. Then you will receive as well, for the one who doesn't have an agreement directly with the University of Winchester, will receive as well an agreement from WEBA, so you can sign up, you will receive your commission. The commission will depend on the number of students that you are able to register for the next intake, which is September. And here I want to point out one more question to you, David. What about January 2023? Will Winchester start as well in January 2023, or is only September intake?
At the moment, it's a September intake.
Okay.
We're still talking about a January start 23, but at the moment, our focus is very much on September 2022 and next September, of course.
Yeah. Fantastic. So you will receive an email from WEBA, which include the agents agreement, which include PowerPoint, recorded workshop, contact person. It will explain exactly how you have to do the application. We have our own portal, and my colleague Bajinder will prepare an email with all the details that you need to follow, how to prepare an SOP. And maybe Bajinder, you can come on board shortly and explain exactly how they need to do an application for the University of Winchester. Thank you, Bajinder, to come on board. You have to.
Thank you, Richard. Yeah, I'm just opening the link which we usually share. So there was a question in this chat box. Yeah, before I go there, I would love to say thanks to David Street, Nabil, Martin, and Darshi, and all of the students and staff who are the part from Winchester, and of course the agents. Going back to your question, Richard, there was a question that where to apply. Shall they apply on the Winchester University link? But just to let you know, because all the agents in this workshop, they are working under WEBA umbrella. So there will be a link provided to you from our side, on which you can go and upload the details of the students, the course they want to join, and their certificates starting from their education, 10th, 12th, undergraduate, whatever courses they have done. Then apart from that, any experience they have got, then there should be 1 or 2 recommendation letters from their previous providers. They could be teachers or employers, and in that link you should be able to upload all these documents which will provide you through the email. And most importantly, personal statement, as Richard mentioned, and we had a video on that. Also, I had a video with Nabil as well, which I will be sharing in that email. So personal statement should be personalized image, mirror image of the student herself or himself, in which they should explain about a brief about their background. There shouldn't be a much explanation about the University of Winchester, or because people in Winchester, they know about Winchester, they want to know more about the student. So just explain about yourself, how your previous studies, how your previous work experience, it could be a volunteer experience as well, does bridge your upcoming course, whichever course you want to join. So again, I would ask all, in fact, request all the agents to please allow agents to do some research on the website of Winchester and do check the courses, the modules, the faculties. So in any case, this could be helpful in the personal statement, number 1. Number two, whenever there is any interviews being conducted by the University of Winchester or by the embassy, so they should be fully equipped with all the knowledge they need regarding the university, regarding the course, and about themselves. Thank you, Richard.
Thank you, Bajinder.
Richard, very quickly, 80% of the agents on this workshop are WEBA agents, and we're working through WEBA for Winchester. 20% of you guys work with us directly, which is fantastic as well. So if you're working with WEBA, please go through Richard and Baljinder. If you're working directly with us, come to us. And for those of you who are quite new to the operation and don't know much about WEBA, just to give you a flavor of how effective they are. I recently applied for an Indian visa. The normal working time is 10 days to get a visa. Thanks to Baljinder's intervention, I got my visa in 5 days.
Thank
This
you.
is just a sign of how effective WEBA can be. So if you have any doubts at all about how effective they are, there you are. Richard, over to you.
Yeah, I want always to say that behind Bajinder and myself, we have a great team, which is Mrs. Barai, Kaur, who handled the team of WEBA on the backside for all the daily work, daily registration. So I want to say a big thank you to Barai Kaur, who is with us today, who is dealing with all the registration of all the agents and all the students with her team. Thank you, Mrs. Barai, to be on board with us today. And we very, very much appreciate your hard work. I know that you are now directing everything. So you are a very important person with us today, and we want to say thank you to you as well. Thank you to Donna on the backside from the University of Winchester, who is handling everything, all our requests. Thank you to Martin, who was with us today. Thank you to Nabil, who received so many questions all the time from our staff. I can imagine Nabil, sometimes he maybe have a glass of coffee or two more because of the many questions you get in every day. And David, I don't want to say more than that, but a big thank you to you as well. I mean, you bring on board the University of Winchester in a very high level. David will be in India. And in the email you will receive from us, you will receive as well the dates, the location, etc. You just need to fill out the form, include your details, and we will forward this to David, so he will be happy to meet you all. This is a very, very important part. Bajinder, if you can just reply to the final question we got on the chat in the meantime, it will be very kind. So it's important. We have to cooperate all together. And what is fundamental on this business is to read. We have to read. We have to go to the website of Winchester. We have to understand how is Winchester working, what kind of course they're offering. So more you go inside on the website of the University of Winchester, more information you will get. Easily will be for you to promote the University of Winchester. We will give you all the tools. David already provided me all the tools, all the information, the PowerPoint presentation. You have a recorded workshop here with us today. You have great people, great staff. We even have our staff in China, Lina, who is helping WEBA team as well, for someone who's coming from China, from Taiwan, from Hong Kong. Even in Thailand, we have our own team. We have Kamon Rus, who is assisting our agent from Thailand and from Vietnam. So we have our team in India. We have Kanika, who is with us in India, in our Indian office. So we try to help everyone as much as possible. David, thank you very much. If you want to give the final speech, please it's all yours.
Well, Richard, thank you. And to all of you guys, as I said right at the start, for us in the UK, this is a 2-year anniversary of the arrival of lockdown. And now we find ourselves largely back to business as usual. So it's been a dickens of a 2 years for all of us. But now the sun is shining, as we heard from Martin. We're ready for business. We're ready for you guys. We are looking forward to seeing your students at Winchester in September. So to Richard, Baljinder, the incredible WEBA team, Mrs. Cower, thank you very much. This has been a great workshop. Again, they always are a workshop at WEBA. And I would like to thank my colleagues particularly, and our students, for supporting this. And Richard, we'll be in touch. And for some of you lucky enough to be working in India, I hope to see you very shortly. I fly out on Tuesday. So I'm looking forward to seeing some of you as early as next week. Richard, thank you very much. Baljinder, thank you very much. And I will speak to all of you, I hope, very soon.
Thank you very much. All the best to everyone. Good health, logically, very, very important. COVID is not disappeared, so always be very, very careful. That's what I can suggest to everyone. And be strong. And if you need, you have my contact. I will put my contact email as well on the chat system. You can easily contact me anytime directly without any problem. Bajinder, if you can put your email as well in case someone needs to reach you for the Indian market. And from my side, thank you very much. And finger crossed, everything going well in 2022 and in the future. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Bajinder. Thank you very much. Very kind of you. You put your email there so we can contact you all the time. Enjoy London, enjoy your stay. I will ask you for a meeting later on today, for maybe tomorrow when you have some time. I know you're very, very, very busy. And I know I stress everyone all the time, but this is my role and I try to work as fast as possible for everyone. We have to be patient. We are working with university, with state university. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer, but we are getting there. Last year was a great successful of students for 2021, starting September intake, as you know, Bajinder. Now,
Yes,
another year.
yeah, I'm just adding to your point. Last year, I mean, we have been in touch with various universities, but the way Winchester handled the situation, because I'd see universities who cancelled the COS, who didn't, if the student was not able to join online classes, they just withdraw the COS. But Winchester University, they supported the students, and I mean, we got visas for students who were lagging behind. They came late, but still the university accepted them. So that was a great teamwork.
Yeah, last year was very tough because of the COVID. It was a lot of delay in general, but for all the university business school around the world as well, inside in our team, we had some COVID issue, including myself. I was twice in the hospital. So it was a very difficult year, the 2021. But now we are in 2022. We are strong. We went through everything. So this is, I always say to everyone, keep safe. Make sure that you keep healthy, which is the most important at the end of the day. So again, Bajinder, thank you very much. Thank you for your...
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Have a nice week ahead. Take care.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mrs. Barai. Thank you all the agents who joined us today. It was my pleasure. Take care and hope to welcome you near.